Hello, welcome back. 6.4 now we're going to be continuing with video lesson number 2. Okay, example 2 is writing an equation. It says which equation is shown in the graph. On the right, you're going to see the graph. And you need to find the equation of this graph. And this is going to be a multiple choice. They give you 4 options. Which one of these is the equation for the graph? Well, what do we notice about this? Let's see. What kind of line is this? We have a picture of a horizontal line. And how do we find the equation of a horizontal line? Well, let's think about it. What do you remember about the slope of a horizontal line? What is the slope of a horizontal line? If you remember the slope, dude, it's puff, puff, positive. Nice, negative. This is 0, fun, and undefined. So basically for this one, the slope is 0. And we should remember that. This is not a vertical line, this is a horizontal line. Well, if the slope is 0, then for our equation y equals mx plus b, if our slope is 0, our m is 0. Now let's find the y-intercept. Where is the graph crossing on the y-axis? Find the y-intercept. If you found it, the answer should be 0, -4. The graph is crossing the y-axis at -4. I'll rewrite that. 0, -4. It's that point right there. That is where the graph is touching the y-axis. So we're going to put all these information into our slope-intercept form equation. Y equals, our slope is 0, so 0x. And then our y-intercept, it will be -4, so -4. But hold on, 0 times x is just 0. So y equals, you have 0 - 4, and 0 - 4 is -4. So our equation should be y equals -4. And where can we see the answer? Answer choice A will be our answer. The equation of this horizontal line is y equals -4. And here's a hint that you can always remember. Always horizontal lines, their equation is y equals a number. This is something that will be very helpful to remember. So if you have an equation that's like, I don't know, y equals 3, it's a horizontal line, y equals 1/2, that's got to be a horizontal line, y equals -6, that has to be a horizontal line. Any equation that looks like this, that says y equals and a number, it's always a horizontal line. Big hint, okay? All right, so moving on to example number 3, real life application. This is our last example. It says, the graph shows the distance remaining to complete a tunnel. And if you look at the picture, it's a graph about tunnel digging. The x-axis is the time in months, and y-axis is the distance that's remaining in feet. So take a moment to look at the graph. Maybe you can pause the video and try to understand what this graph is telling us. And if the graph is going down, its distance remaining, that's basically we're talking about digging a tunnel. In the beginning, at month 0, they have to dig 3,500 feet. And each month, as you can see, let's say after 3 months or 4 months, let's say 4 months, they only have 1,500 feet to dig now, and 1,500 and 0. So this is the amount of tunnel digging that's left over time. Part A says, write an equation that represents the distance y remaining after x months. This is important. We know that our variables are y and x. It tells us what to use. And let's find the equation of the line. and we're going to use a slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. Looking at the graph, the y-intercept, where is the graph crossing on the y-axis, or where is the starting point? The starting point is the y-intercept, and it's right here. B is 0, 3,500. And then if we find our slope, you have 2 points, so let's use the graph to find a slope. You're going to go down, and then you're going to move to the right. Now, when you're going down, you're not going to read it as down 4 units because it's not going by 1. When we are counting boxes, we have to be extra careful. Each box is not going by 1. When you go down, the numbers are going down by 500, not 1. So we have to pay attention to these numbers here. If you're going from 3,500 to 1,500, if you do 3,500 minus 1,500, that's 2,000. So here we're going down 2,000. And then if we're moving to the right, and this time it's going by 1, as you can see the number down here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're moving to the right 4. So if you write this as a slope in fraction 4, since it's down 2,000, it would be negative 2,000 over right 4, positive 4. And if you know, negative 2,000 divided by 4, it will be negative 500. So we found our slope and the y-intercept. Then our equation will be y equals negative 500x and the y-intercept 3,500, so positive 3,500. That is going to be our answer. Pretty simple. Now, part B, it says, how much time does it take to complete the tunnel? If you're completing the tunnel, how long will that take and when will that be? This answer, you can find it using the graph. You can also use it find it using the equation. So first, I'm going to find the answer from the graph, and you should be writing both methods from the graph. If you're finishing the digging, that means you have nothing left to dig. So if you look at the distance remaining, that means you have 0 feet left. And where is that point have y value of 0? There. The point on the x-axis, this one, is when you have 0 feet left to dig. And what is the answer? That is 7, and it's not just 7, it'll be 7 months, because that's when you have 0 feet remaining. So we found our answer from the graph. Now, if you're using the equation, you're trying to find where you have no distance left. And that's when the distance remaining is 0, and that stands for y equals 0. So what will be the x value when y is 0? Plug it into the equation, make y 0. You would get 0 equals negative 500x plus 3,500. And then maybe you can just subtract 3,500 both sides to move it to the other side, or you can add 500x both sides to move it to the other side. I am just going to add 500x both sides so that I don't have any negatives. Then it moves to the left, so you have 500x equals 3,500. To solve for x, divide both sides by 500. Then you get that x is equal to 3,500 divided by 500, I can cancel out the zeros, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. So we still get the same answer where x equals 7, and since x stands for time in months, that means our answer is 7 months. Both ways, you will still get the same answer, and you should be able to do it using the equation as well. All right. So that's the end of our Unit 4, Lesson 6. Please take our practice worksheet and start working on those. Make sure you use the notes to complete them and staple them together. And when you're finished both of them, please turn them in. All right. Thank you and very good job.